I don't know why, but I was at your house and I must have been in 6th grade or something like that. Somehow I ended up at your house, and I remember you had an electric guitar, Kiss albums, and maybe an Angel record. Is that possible?
That's
And
absolutely possible. We just talked
and
about that.
I remember thinking, "This is everything that I want right here." Was it a Les Paul? Was it a Les Paul copy?
Yes, yes, it was a Memphis Les Paul Tobacco Sunburst copy, and that was Punky Meadows was the guitar player. I'd suddenly become infatuated with his playing style. Angel, he was with Angel. I went from Ace
Okay, alright.
Frehley to Angel because they were. We have a whole video about Angel elsewhere that can explain this more, and we'll link it below. But yeah, that's who that was. Angel. It was a short phase.
Well, I heard that's when I first remember hearing that you played the guitar, and I was absolutely blown away. I just wanted one right then. Then in high school, well, I had been playing in a band here and there, and we were becoming better and better friends and running with the same crowd. Uh, and it was just natural to fall in. You were writing songs. I heard your guitar playing, and you were a very you had it together. You were a very very good guitar player at a young age, and I heard what you were doing, and it's always been my nature to write songs, write the words to songs, and I think we just did it because that's no one we didn't even think about it. We just started doing it in the basement,
Yeah.
starting to put together songs, and a band followed, and uh that's how it goes. I don't know if there was anything else to do.
Right, when you rule out things like going to school and chores and everything, if those are no longer on the table.
I didn't wanna do anything else. I didn't wanna do anything else. So, having
Exactly.
nothing else to do is was my commitment.
I actually remember, there was a song, "Can't Sympathize." I don't know if you remember the name,
Yeah, I can.
but it was because what had happened with that was and the way that this song was born was that I had learned well, because by this time, I'd already been through a Randy Rhoads phase, and I was nearing the Raven phase. I'd been through Iron Maiden and the earlier Queensryche and all those guys earlier. I remember so Flying High Again starts out in the way that I learned it in those days. I'm sure there's tons of videos out there a million years later that tell you different ways, but it was basically an A chord that was open. The way that you went to the D, I think it was that song, was just to sort of lay your fingers down on it, keep the A, but just so you ended
Uh-huh.
up making, you know what I mean? That thing.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's almost
Right.
a
So
hammer. It's a full chord
right.
hammer-on
Right,
almost.
right, right. And so
Yeah.
with this version, and it might not even be, it was I learned that from Randy. But what I did in this song is I just did da, 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 like a G, A, D, A, but did it with this sort of metal, different sort of twang to it. And then went down to like G, D, and then like F, and then like C, whatever. And it was so basic. It was like a old school rock and roll thing with this Randy Rhoads chord that I'd used or way to play it, just jacked up with the sound. And that was Can't Sympathize. It was a weird little fusion of what it was probably. I don't even know where it would have been. When did we all of a sudden decide, let's get a guy named Sean in the band? We had a guy named Scott playing the bass. How did that happen?
Well, I think Sean was pretty natural. He was right down the street. I think
Used
you had been playing
literally.
I remember you had been playing with him a little bit already.
Okay, so he and I were already together at
Yeah,
that point. And
and
then and how do we find Scott? He was atypical to the group.
he was atypical to the group and absolutely so essential. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how Scott showed up, but I'm
I
glad
don't
that he
remember.
did. He's still the godfather of heavy metal in Chicago.
Let's back up for a second before we catch up to who he is for people that might know him still. Um, that'd be funny if he ends up saying this and he is the like king of Chicago, which I think he might be.